everyone, welcome back to my channel. Right now I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I plan to read in November. So I have a lot of books here, and I don't think that I'll get to all of them. I usually set these TBRs for myself as sort of just to have options of books that I already know that I want to read for when I'm looking for what my next book is going to be and everything. So usually I like to pick books that I think that I'll be in the mood for, or that I feel like it's that time of year for. There's certain genres of books that I like to read at certain times of year. It's November now, which means I'm looking for cozy reads, I'm looking for dark academia, I'm looking for fall reads. There's some like spookier books, but for the most part it's just going to be like cozy, comfy fall reads. Because all of my October books I intended on reading were like horror, thrillers, things like that. But now I'm looking for like fall books. And there are a few books of series that I want to finish, a few books that I'm just been dying to read, or I'm like starting and I'm like in the middle of, stuff like that. So just the books that I plan on reading or trying to read in November. Let's start with the books that I'm currently reading that I set for myself for this month. I'm currently in the middle of Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. If you watched my October wrap up, I said I was rereading the series so I could annotate it. This is an all-time favorite series for me. I've read it several times, and Clockwork Prince is probably my favorite book in the series, I think. I'm rereading it, so we'll see if that changes, but yes, I am definitely going to be reading this. I also hope that I can finish The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I'm only like 100 pages in, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really hooked. This is one of Erin Morgenstern's books, and Erin Morgenstern wrote The Night Circus, which was one of my favorite books of all time. It's so magical and beautiful, and this book is definitely giving me the same vibes. It's very magical, very lyrical. The writing is very nice, and I really love the fantasy aspects because I haven't really been reading a lot of fantasy, because last month I read like a lot of horror and I've read a lot of thrillers recently, and I just wanted to read some fantasy. So that's what The Starless Sea is. I've been trying to read this for a long time. I've never gotten to it, so I'm finally getting to it this month, I hope. The next book is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the final book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I've talked about this book in a few videos. I've talked about this series in a few videos, and I'm really enjoying it. This is the last book. I'm only like 60 pages in, so I'm not too far in yet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Stevie's up to in this book. So already it's very dark and more intense and deep than the first two books. The first two are more like YA mystery thrillers, but this seems like more like an adult thriller already. Like the beginning pages already give that vibe to me. So we'll see how I do with this. The next book I want to read is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I recently read Normal People by Sally Rooney, and I really liked it. And I've heard a lot of good things about this one. So I don't really know anything about it, and I really don't want to know anything about it. I want to go into it kind of blind and just kind of let it unravel. That's what I did with Normal People. I really didn't know that much about it, and I just kind of let it take me in, and I had no clue what was coming, what was going to happen. And it was really fun. So I'm hoping to do the same with Conversations with Friends. The next book I want to read, I've been wanting to read it for so long, and I've just never gotten to it. This is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I've been wanting to read this forever, and I've just never gotten to it, and I hope I can get to it this month. It's not very long, and I once again don't know that much about it. I think this is kind of like a between life and death area called the Midnight Library, and I think somebody tries to kill themselves, or somebody dies or almost dies in a weird way, and they're sent to the Midnight Library, and basically you can see like what your life would have been like if you had made different choices at different times, and I think that's like a really interesting concept. So I think I'm gonna like this. I've heard a lot of really good reviews on this from people that I really respect and have similar tastes in book as, so I hope to read that soon. The next book is a graphic novel. It's Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. This is just like super fall-y to me, and I've been saving it for so long. It's basically like set in a pumpkin patch, these two friends I really don't know anything about this either. But I've been saving this for fall, and I'm finally gonna read it. And I really love the art style. It's so pretty, and the colors are so beautiful. So I'm probably gonna like this, I hope. The next book I want to read is The Atlas Six by Olivier Blake. This book has been literally everywhere, all over TikTok. I see it every single day. I've been dying to read it. I think it's like dark academia. I think it's set at a school. That's really all I know about it. A lot of people have said on TikTok and on BookTube that you really need to go into this not knowing anything about it. So I haven't watched any review videos on it. I haven't really read anything intentionally about this. I have read a few things on accident, but I really don't know anything about this book or the characters, so I'm really excited. And it has like illustrations throughout, I think, so this should be a fun time. And it's like a really nice floppy paperback. The next book I've been dying to read, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and I really wanted just like a fun romance to throw in there to mix things up. I always try to throw in like a fun romance that's strictly romance because I just read them fast and they make me really happy, so I hope that's what this one is for me. This was my book of the month in September and I never got to it, so I hope I can get to it this month. The next one, this is kind of like a big feat, and I've been trying to read this for like years and I've just never done it, so who knows if it's actually gonna happen, but that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is like the blueprint for dark academia books, and I've been wanting to read it for so long. I've heard 1 million good things about this book. I know it's set at a school, and I know it's like a mystery. I know there's a murder, and I know it's a thriller kind of, and I think I'm gonna love it. I've heard so many cool things about this book, and I love dark academia. This book is kind of really long. I think it's like a 500-page book, 550. Yeah, it's like 550 pages, and usually like big books like this, I don't really read that fast, and I know that this one is going to be kind of dense, and I don't know if I'm going to vibe with the writing style, so I'm definitely going to start it soon and try to see if it's going to be for me. I really, really want to read this. I really hope I can this month. Next is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. And when I say that The Secret History is the blueprint for dark academia, it's the blueprint for like this type of book. I've heard that this book pulls a lot of influence from The Secret History, and so do all dark academia books. And I have read a few dark academia books that I really enjoyed. How many times can I say dark academia? But this one is also set at a school. I think it's a college, and I think that a student is suspicious that a professor is kind of shady, and he is the Greek tragedies professor, and she thinks he killed someone, I think, or he covered something up. Once again, don't know much about this, but I think it's a thriller. I think it's spookier, but I think it's mostly an academia book, I think. Not really sure, but I think I'm gonna like this. It sounds really cool. The last book on my TBR for this month is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And I have like a love-hate relationship with classics. Like, you have to kind of like be in the mood for them, and I feel like I'm kind of in the mood for The Scarlet Letter randomly. I read this book in high school, I think freshman year. I don't think I actually read it. I think I read like Spark Notes and like a few pages of this book. So I know like the premise, and everyone knows like Easy A and The Scarlet Letter, like what it's about. I might be in the mood for this month. It does kind of give me fall vibes. Like, isn't it kind of like darker? I'm asking, I don't really know. I don't really remember anything about this book. But it's not a massive book, and I've read, I think it's like 200 pages, 230 pages. And I've like, sometimes I'll like, when I think I'm in the mood for a classic, sometimes I'll like flip to a random page and just start reading a little bit and see if the writing style is like really dense, or like if I can understand the writing style. And this one seems like attainable. It seems like I could read it. So I'm not usually typically a classics person, but I would like to be. I would like to read classics. I have a lot of classics. I have beautiful editions of classics, that I always say I'm gonna read and I never get to. So I hope I can read The Scarlet Letter this month. And I have this really beautiful Barnes and Noble edition. It just says BG Classics edition, but it has red edges and it's like this like leather bound book, and it has these beautiful end papers and a ribbon bookmark. So we'll see if I get to this. So that is the 11 books that I hope to read this month. I read 12 books last month, so maybe I could do that again this month and read all 11 of these. My thing is that I'm a big mood reader. I have to be fully in the mood for a book, and sometimes I'm randomly in the mood for a classic, sometimes I'm in the mood for romance, sometimes I'm in the mood for a thriller, a mystery. Like, I'm all over the place with my moods, and I can never really guess what kind of mood I'm going to be in. So that's why I give myself so many options and such wide ranges of genres and lengths and tropes and stuff, just because I don't want to burn myself out on one genre too much. If I read too much fantasy or if I read too many thrillers, like, I'm gonna get burned down on it, and that's not what I want. So hopefully I'll get to all these this month. I doubt it, but you never know. So those are my 11 books. I'm gonna try to hold it. So so yeah, those are my 11 books that I hope to get to this month. Hopefully check back for my wrap up at the end of the month to see how many of these I actually get to. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next one. Hope you have a good November and a good Thanksgiving, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!